I'd like to convene the meeting back to order, please. Okay, I just have a couple of things to report. I think everybody got the article I sent everybody about the New York Times article tracing Charleston's history of slavery. It's a very good article, something that is going on in other areas as well. I just want to give a brief report. I think Gloria will be talking about this. I did attend the Descendant Community meeting, which I thought was excellent. And I'm not going to say any more because I'm sure Gloria is probably going to be reporting on that. Enjoyed that very much. It was really, really, really good. Also, I want to push, if I could, we have our member, John, I know mentioned about this, going to be speaking as a guest speaker. I'll pass this around. Hopefully we can attend and have a couple other things, but we'll handle that through the meeting. So, okay. Ellen, your report, secretary of the minutes.
Yeah, I emailed everybody a copy of our minutes from last January. Anyone have any questions?
I approve of the minutes be accepted as written.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, Rodney, treasurer report.
I just gave it.
Okay. I just want to mention that I think everybody's okay on that. All right, very good. All right, nominating committee, Joe.
The nominating committee, you all got the bios of the little bit we have on one and what we have on the other. Charles Audubon has agreed to serve as treasurer for a year. And our newest directors will be Allison Richards. And she is a Dickinson College graduate. I'm having a little trouble getting her to get me the little bio. She was a Latin teacher in the public school system. She lives in Rising Sun. Her husband is Mike Richards, who used to work for the state, was active in historical things.
Oh, nice.
The other one is gosh, I didn't put her first name down there, but Dickerson,
Kitty?
Kitty Dickerson. She's I've got Kitty Dickerson Trader, and you have her bio. I know I had that. Did you all get it?
I sent it out.
Yeah. She's an attorney. I think she's a prosecutor. I was shocked when I got it. She went to Washington D.C. Wow, my. So we know she has to be a viable candidate. And then the third member will be, and you got his bio today, Dr. Davis. And we had rushed him a couple of years ago and he couldn't do it. And now he's agreed. He's actually, the units brought him down here and met with staff. And I mean, talk about
Thank you, Gloria. It was in the rain and she found the golf cart with a top on it.
Dr. Davis, we only need, right now, we only need 2 new members, but we're going to have 3. And one of them will replace me because I will be resigning after the annual meeting. So that's the officers. I jumped away from them will be the same. The officers have agreed to serve another term. Charles will step in for a year as treasurer because we're losing Rodney. That's my report.
Okay, so Dr. Davis is from Newcastle County.
He
Yeah,
lives in
thank you.
Middletown
Okay.
and he works at the University of Delaware, so he will represent Newcastle.
So we have 1 from each county.
Oh, we have. a
I mean,
couple.
coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Joe. Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, Joe. Great. Okay, any questions?
I'm worried about the one ghosting me, but we'll see. That's the new.
We'll have to see. All right. Okay.
Like,
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, Eunice. June meeting, we want to just,
Yeah, our June meeting, as usual, will be held here on the grounds of the mansion, weather permitting, and so lots of prayers for good weather. We're going to have, a picnic, a summer picnic. If the weather is such that we'll have the picnic dinner in here or the picnic lunch in here following the meeting. We have a couple of options for a speaker, and we're wait until that person might be representing John Dickinson, might be able to be here and join us. And so.
So I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Rustic picnic? How rustic are you looking at? Are you looking for tables and things like that?
Yes, I think we are, aren't we? You
We
know?
have to have tables, so we'll,
For the food,
for the food, not for people.
Okay.
Yeah, the people, no, it'll be, we're hoping people will mix and mingle. You know, it's picnic food, so they're not going to be necessarily sitting down eating it. I know before you had some little tables, those little small barrels that we use, and a couple of chairs around them, that might work. Yeah,
Well, but we're gonna use the chairs that are out front.
yeah, we're gonna use,
Meeting.
yeah, wherever the chairs
I
are,
hope, John.
Gloria, whatever the chairs are out front that we've set up. If
Okay.
it's nice weather, people can just, sit there and eat there.
Okay, and if it's bad weather?
Well, they'll be in here.
Okay.
Sitting on top of these.
we don't have a choice. Outside or inside. Okay. All right, so we're gonna be developing that as things go on. Okay.
And we're gonna charge the members, what did we say?
25.
25.
$25.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Gloria, Dan. report?
So I'm gonna start off, I'm sorry, Annie. Annie, talking a little bit about the website.
Sure. So the Plantation Stories Project website went live at the end of March. Very exciting for us because it's sharing the names and the stories of enslaved, indentured, free, and freedom-seeking Black people connected to this plantation or any of the land that the Dickinson family had ownership over. So it's sharing as many stories as we can find. Right now, there are 132 named individuals on that website. If you get a chance, highly recommend taking a look at it. It's available at history.delaware.gov/John-Dickinson-plantation, and you can find the link there.
Say that again.
The link is history.delaware.gov.
Okay,
And then /John-Dickinson-plantation. And from there, you'll be able to see the banner that says Plantation Stories Project. And underneath of that, the link says explore the Plantation Stories Project.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Be keeping track of how many people are accessing that link. Is there a way to?
That's a good question. I don't know much about website metrics.
We can pull the metrics. We don't necessarily have easy access to it, but we have people in the division.
As I was saying, on Saturday, we had the Lucinda Community Engagement Group Public Forum. And so we had it at the Dover Public Library at 10:30. We didn't have as many people as we were hoping, but the people we had there were very enthusiastic. Some knew us, some gentleman walked in and he was upset that he did not get to see the beginning of it, but he was very enthusiastic and supportive of our efforts. So Ray was there. We also had Gwendolyn Miller, who is the chair of our community partner, SADARJ, which is the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice. She is she's pulling together a group of people who will be working with us with the International Coalition of Sites of Conscience grant that we're working under for the next two years. So we'll be talking and explaining a little bit more about them as we continue on this year. We're just starting our partnership, so we're all just getting to know the stage. So we're doing some fun things together, and they're coming to visit to see how we operate.
Good.
Also, there was Nancy Gardner, so some of you know Nancy. She showed up. We had Tamara Burke, who has worked with the African Cemetery in New York. And so we are all in agreement that we're moving forward with the Descendant Community Engagement Group. We're just taking it slowly and we're building a consensus. We're building a group, an organization, the people who really want to be a part of this group. So we will be making more public forums in the future. So we get more and more people, and hopefully they will take leadership of the group, and then it will be separate from HCA. That's our hope. So it's going to take a little while, but we are determined to make this work. One of our goals is to help interpret the site as a site of enslavement. So that is one of their goals for that group. And as we move forward, as I said, the next one was the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice. It's a 3-year commitment. We've already started in year 1. We are now working in year 2. We have our partner, and so they will be making an internal change, and they will make suggestions for an external change for the organization. They are very much impressed with what we do and how we do it, but of course, there's always room for improvement. And so that's what we're going to be doing and concentrating. And I think Ray and Gwendolyn got along famously.
We did. I found her to be just incredible. I think she has a balanced approach, which I think that's what we're after as well, in terms of how this is basically put together between the philosophy and the importance of John Dickinson, and also the fact that he was struggling with, the enslaved people, and over time, emerged and evolved. And I think that those two things are really important. And I think we offer, and I'll say this again, love once this descendant group really gets moving to really cross-pollinate, if you will. I'd love to have them come here and be part of our meetings, and for us to, join them as well. Because it's really one story, 2 different, issues of the same thing, and we need to join forces on that. So I welcome it. I thought it was a very well done session.
Thank you. I participated in an interview with Andrew McCrae for American Countryside. All right, I'm not going to say anything more. I don't like listening to myself on the radio or on television show. I'm just going to leave it there. If you want to see it or hear it, you're more than welcome to. And Annie is doing what? Travels
with Darley. They'll be filming on the 25th.
And I think we have one more video, and that is the Delaware Heritage Commission. And as I push John over here, because he will be helping with that one, and that is scheduled to film next month.
The Heritage Commission is doing a film for the 250th year on Delaware and the Revolution.
Okay. I think that was in your packet.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the one that Annie?
Travels with Darley, and so it's on PBS and also available on Amazon. And this episode is going across the state, looking at different sites that have something to do with the semi-quincentennial.
Oh.
And so we have several of our sites that are going to be featured in this episode: Cooch's Bridge, Newcastle Courthouse Museum, Old State House here, and Zwangdale.
Oh, great.
You just did that so you could say that word.
Yeah, I learned that word to say that way.
Well, you thought, you were Anthony, wasn't going to try.
So,
I'm also coming with you for a request. We are planning on wanting to go to Alfam again this year. They've done it slightly different this year, where they're having the first and half of the conference in June, and that is all on trades. So it'll be going up there, learning trades, talking to people with trades, or any of the activities they're involved in. And then in the second half of the year, they're doing their presentations. So they're split, and they're going to be virtual. That part's going to be virtual. But the first half in June is on site and at Howell Farms and Rider University. And so we're going to get hands-on things to do. And so we would like to go. So I do have an ask of the friends to pay the cost for the lodging at Rider University. And so that is
was discussed and
$1,120.
approved.
Okay, thank you. So we were talking about anniversaries. I was talking with you this one day. We were talking about anniversaries, and I think you guys have missed yours for the Friends being created, because it was established before the museum even opened. The Friends group was established. But our anniversary is coming up in 2026, and we'll be open for 70 years.
Where, how many years have you been here?
Okay, man.
So she's coming up on her semi.
I will be here for like half the time that the museum has been open to the public.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
We should celebrate.
Geez, Gloria, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, we'll just ignore that and we're gonna keep on going, but our anniversary is coming up for 70 years. And so we might want to think about tying in and doing something during that time, even though it is a whatever. The 250. Yes, there we go. That one is coming up, but we are definitely
So what's the year?
2026.
2026.
Yeah. We opened up as a museum in 1956.
And we were established in 1953 or 4?
It's 2 or 4. It's 2 or 4.
2 or
It
4.
was two.
Then it was 2.
What were you saying? Doing something,
So,
celebrating.
yeah, if we can find something, we have plenty of time to figure out something to do.
It was 52.
Yeah, 52. 52, we got it.
I knew it was an even number.
Isn't that crazy?
And a cake for parade.
Huh?
Right.
Blaming on the pandemic is why we didn't celebrate. All right.
I gotta go, I'm sorry. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for coming.
It's gonna be at, Howell Farms. But it's been, Hattiesville.
Bye, thanks everyone.
Bye.
I think so. I don't think so.
It's right next to that.
Okay, well, it might be one of the trips, they have day trips and things like that.
Cute little uniforms.
Really, John? See? Not encouraging at all.
Did you want us to bring you back one?
Oh. So, also we have some programs going on. We have homeschool on the green. We'll be working with the Lewis Historical Society for Tavern Night in May. We will be conducting a hike with the St. John's Reserve. We originally planned on having a town hall meeting with SEDARJ, which is the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice, but we think that date will be moved. There are some issues going on. And of course, we will be closed for the Dover Air Base air show that we have this year. And so.
Issues with the location for that town hall, not issues with partnership.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's not any of that. And I also included the wreath laying ceremony picture.
Yeah.
You will notice I picked that one, John, and not the other one where you put the wreath on the wrong grave.
Oh, yeah. I am very nearsighted. I could not read the,
So you put it on Mary, and then they move it over a little, and there's John right there. And we said it was fine, put it between them. And that was fine.
just push me.
I also videotaped your speech, so if you would like a copy, I can send that to you.
Oh, thank you.
And of course, Make a Splash was a great hit this year. We had how many in it?
In total, school children and chaperones and bus drivers, 695 people.
Oh, heavens.
So, and even SEDARJ was there. They wanted to experience it with us. They weren't expecting as many kids, but it was a wonderful day, just like today. So we were outside and we had how many partners?
You want me to count off the top of my head? Do you count HCA and other sites as part?
Yeah, everyone.
Oh, okay, then we had 15 stations, let me put it that way. And 13 of them were from outside of this plantation.
So have you thought of on the weekend of the Delaware, the Dover Air Force Base show, maybe getting some beach chairs and.
I will say
You could rent it out.
That might not be a bad idea one day to do that, because literally it is just, the problem is also the traffic to get to here.
Oh, yeah.
It is, they were around 100,000 people one year, they were expecting, it was crazy. So that is why we do close. It's just almost impossible to get here and get out safely in a timely manner.
Well,
So,
especially that, was it last year that they had the Blue Angels and,
They're
yeah,
the Thunderbirds.
yeah.
They're the Thunderbirds, not the
Okay.
Blue
Yeah, they
Angels.
have both.
they had both.
Mhm.
That must have
so
been
the
2
one
years
good
ago.
thing about that is that the day leading up to it, they do their practice.
Oh,
So people
yeah.
come out and they just hang out here and just watch the practice, so that's a good thing.
One of them was flying so low that they were captured on parking lot security.
Gee.
Yeah, it's one of the Thunderbirds, yeah.
Yeah, I was out to the burial ground and I got a picture of him flying really, really low, right next to the burial ground.
Oh,
So we get a lot. So that is one of the reasons why we closed that weekend and allow the traffic to proceed as it will, because there are so many people coming that weekend to see that air show.
We're gonna put the log well on Airbnb, so you can just plug it in the car. It's not put in track.
And that reminder is, the several years ago, you helped sponsor the slave dwelling project
oh,
that
yeah.
came here. And they are actually having a conference in Philadelphia this year.
Oh, wow.
In October of this year. So we're looking at putting in a proposal to, for a presentation for the
Okay.
slave dwelling project conference. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that they moved it closer to Delaware.
Good.
And I want to turn it over to Dan.
I was fairly succinct on my part. The trail is complete except for the waysides and stuff like that. And so those are, they're going through their just review process for the text and then they'll go to design. And there's a standing water issue that will hopefully be resolved. The work is tentatively scheduled for the week of May 20th, but we'll have to see how the weather is looking and things like that. And then working with the State Historic Preservation Office, we do have the scope. So now we're just keeping our fingers crossed that we can coordinate the work with Dovetail, who are our contractual archaeologists, to squeeze into their schedule because this is sort of their busy season. So that will give us the archaeological work. We already did part of it. That would be the remainder of the landing trail. So where the trail turns to the east to head towards St. John's, we would have a spur that would go straight or kind of veer off to the right a little bit. And it would go to that wooded area. That's the high spot. There's a little bit higher spot where the woods are. And then through there and out into the marsh, not very far, with the idea being that we would have something like a 20 by 20 platform for people to stand on in the marsh, hopefully in the approximate location of where the landing was. We don't know exactly where it was. It was in that vicinity as best we can tell. And if we get really, really lucky, because part of the scope of what Dovetail is going to be doing will be augering in the marsh. And if we get incredibly lucky, they auger in exactly the right spot and hit something. And it could be, a case of something that fell off or something like that, or some sort of debris that'll tell us, yes, that's where the landing was.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very lucky. We understand that, but we're gonna give it a go. And so this is the work that's needed before we can finalize the scope for how the trail will proceed, because there are a couple of question mark areas if we can go through there or if we have to kind of divert to the east or west. And then we can then go for the permitting and all of that. So that work will follow. That is unfunded as of this time, the actual construction work, but we need this before we can really get into the final part of the design.
Who do you have to go to for the permit?
For that, that's the fun part because it'll be DENREC, potentially Kent County, but probably not. And the Army Corps of Engineers if we touch the marsh.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason that was removed from the plan originally, because that permitting was going to take potentially a year by itself because the Army Corps of Engineers,
Sure.
and we wanted to get the rest of the trail
Mhm.
in place. So this, we have some time here. We don't have as big a time crunch on this because there isn't a clock on it because of the NOAA funding and things like that. And then as far as the visitor center, so we do have our final construction company. It's Delaware Veteran Builders. They have taken a handoff. We have bi-weekly meetings, one of which is later today. And they are in the process of setting up sort of their subgroups so that we don't have 3-hour meetings where a bunch of people only have to be there for 15 minutes. So they're just kind of getting up to speed with the layout of their meetings. The main thrust of the work right now is their civil engineer has to do a bunch of work to do the permitting before we can do any ground disturbance. And so all of that has to be in place. So he is feverishly working on that because we have to go to Kent County. There'll be a variety of permitting that has to come from DENREC, potentially some from DelDOT as well. So all of that, the remainder of the civil engineering has to be in place. And so that's where the work is going on. The rest of it right now is planning because the design was at 60%. And so Delmarva Veteran Builders has their architects coming on board to then move that to 100%. And so we have that while the civil engineering is happening, we have this planning time. And then if all goes well, we have the plan ready to go, all permits are in place, and then we get out there and we start digging and building.
But you've completed your archaeological survey?
So everything that we needed to do ahead of time has been complete, yes.
Okay.
Depending on, there will be monitoring that happens the entire time during ground disturbance, and that will be monitoring both from our side and from the federally recognized tribes. They've already indicated that they want to send some of their archaeologists out as well.
Okay.
And so that will be going on. Interestingly, this may be for some of them the first time on site out of school because both of the federally recognized tribes for this area have made a big push because they didn't have any archaeologists within the tribe itself. They had archaeologists they worked with that they trusted, but they said we should have archaeologists. So they kind of put the word out within the tribes and said, who's interested in doing this? And developed a program to put people through school to become archaeologists.
Huh.
And so this may be one of the spots where they actually get sort of boots on the ground the first time, not as part of a school project, which actually could be very beneficial for both because we're hoping to sort of expand our relationship with the federally recognized tribes beyond just, hey, this is what we're doing. What do you think? Please give us your comments.
Yeah.
And so being able to interact in person will be nice.
Particularly if they find something.
And that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It seems unlikely based on our preliminary work, but we didn't dig up everything, so it's entirely possible. So
Dan, what's the name of the firm again? Delmarva what?
Delmarva Veteran Builders.
Veteran Builders.
Veteran.
It's in the,
The vast majority of the market.
Rodney, it's in the state
And it's-
report that Gloria sent.
Their
Also,
website's very interesting. It doesn't look like an average building contractor.
didn't they do the Dover post office?
Right, yeah,
I believe they did, yeah.
they did. And you see them doing it.
Yeah, they seem to be getting a lot more projects in
Uh-huh.
they're relatively new, but they seem to have a lot of experience with the people they work with.
Not all, but a majority of
Thus
based
far,
on their
they've been,
website.
yeah, thus far they've been pretty easy to work with. Although it's early days, I'm not trying to jinx it or anything. But yeah, it seems like they're on the ball and, they just want to keep moving forward, so.
I do want to bring up one other thing, with the new building, we talked about it before, a time capsule. And I wouldn't be remiss not to invite our friend group to put something in the time capsule. I don't know what size the time capsule is going to be. So we have no idea yet, so you might want to think small right now until we figure that out.
When will that be?
We could put our corporate seal in there, Gloria.
Don't you need that?
No. So far.
So we are anticipating completion of the visitor center in hopefully the first quarter of 2026 in time for the semi-quincentennial. And so so it would be obviously before that. We don't have the construction schedule yet until we.
So don't have to worry about it this meeting.
Right, yeah, you got some time, yeah. Yeah, we don't anticipate any ground disturbance probably until very early next year. Any questions about any of our stuff?
How about the exhibits?
So the only thing about the exhibits is, so you all have the script for review, so thank you for that. And as we're getting comments back from people,
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so there's still time to.
It's 60 pages long, John.
Yeah.
And it looks very similar to what was originally presented to us.
So I just got my objections now.
Yeah, so,
I think it's the 29th or the 30th, whichever, I can't remember which day we said.
yeah, I think it's the 29th. I'd have to check my email,
We
but
have a little time.
Okay.
yeah.
So the trail will be open before the visitor center.
The trail is open now.
It's already open?
Yeah, people can use the trail now. We haven't had the official grand opening ribbon cutting, but it is open. People have been using it.
Where's it start?
At the head of the garden, and it goes down, and then over to the St. John's. So, and people have used it from the St. John's area and come over here and started here and gone over to the St. John's and come back.
So do you have a date for your grand opening?
Of the trail?
Yeah.
We do not.
Okay, let me know so I can blast an email out to our members.
There's also something else coming up on April 27th. There is the opening of the sheriff's house. I think you have to.
Sheriff's house?
It's not a public event, but I'm saying this because, not just because of that. I'm saying that because, I have talked to Sam and some of the other National Park Rangers, and John is heavily focused on in their new exhibit that's going to be in. Just to let you know.
Okay,
It
Thank
may
you.
be converted to a public event, but as of now, it is not
all
I'm
right.
sorry, what is it?
The sheriff's house.
in Newcastle.
With the fence around it, is that?
The fence is no longer around. All their construction work was completed, their exhibit is up. It's getting a little bit of tweaking in anticipation of the 27th, and they're moving their offices in. It was funny, I was in Newcastle the other day and somebody said, oh, so when are they moving? And literally right then, somebody walked out of the courthouse west wing carrying some stuff, and I said, right now.
Okay, anything else for the good of the matter? Thank you. Yeah, thank you both for your report. Okay, that concludes our meeting. Thank you.
Board and not. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Looking out for us.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I still have to send her the picture when they were out here, when your grandchildren were out here, for the commercial.
Yeah.
2006 event. I have the copy of the commercial without the words, and it's just the